How to make birth and baby events part of your marketing strategy. Hello, my name is Liz Stamford and I am one half of Baba Business.
And my name is Anna Lagrange, and I'm the other half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy, which is a community membership for birth and baby business owners who want to turn their passion into profit. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's us.
That's us, indeed it is. So, this is quite interesting because we've been doing a lot of networking recently. Okay, hang on.
I'm going to say
Right.
you've been doing a lot of networking. I've been back office.
Yeah. Well, but we've been in it together. I've been doing it, actually physically doing it, but we've been doing the strategy together, making all the decisions
Of
together,
course.
and all of that. So it's definitely an us thing for sure.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting, really, because I think networking and attending events can really bring up a bit of fear, like maybe like a bit of anxiety for some people, and also there's like a bit of confusion around like how can I make the most of these kind of events? Are they necessary? All of those kind of things. So I think that our experiences recently I think we could really take what we've learned from them and like pass it on to everyone, really.
I totally agree.
So we decided at the beginning of this year, towards the beginning of this year, I think it was February, that we wanted to start a new arm of our marketing strategy, if you like. We wanted to try something different that we hadn't tried at the point for Baba. And that's when we decided that we wanted to meet more people in person. I think it was off the back of doing Baba Live in February when we got in a room and we'd seen people create collaborations, make sales, network with each other, and just like really support each other. We were just like, oh, we need more of that. We need more of that. So then we spent a bit of time, didn't we, kind of like searching for events that we could go to. And to be honest,
it's a bit harder for us, I think, than for our audience. I think when you're a birth and baby business owner, obviously you're going to go to events where parents are at, and there's a lot of those in different formats. I think for us, what we're looking for, obviously, is something where birth professionals are going to be. So it's a little bit more challenging. But we still found a few, and off you toddled to them. With your kit.
Yeah, with my kit. But the first one I went to was the baby show at the NEC, which is literally down the road from me. So it was nice and convenient. But it wasn't the type of event where we were going to go and have a stall, because our ideal was not going to be the attendee. Whereas birth and baby business owners, it would be pregnant people coming through the door, pregnant women and pregnant people. The ideal for birth and baby business owners. And I have to say, I was really surprised that there wasn't more service-based birth and baby business owners there at the baby show. There was a lot of products, but I came across maybe 2 or 3 actual services, which was interesting, which was really interesting. But it was really worth my time going and just connecting with people and having conversations and discussions, and I enjoyed doing it that way. It was quite good fun. It was nice to meet people and offer support.
Yeah, so I think the learning from that for anyone to listening is, right, before you go, and because people come to us sometimes, they're like, shall I spend £1,000 on a baby show?
Yeah.
What's it called? Stall.
Yeah.
So before we say yes or no, you've got to really, the first step is to really think about first of all, is my ideal client going to be there? In which case it was, yes, our ideal client was going to be there potentially. We didn't know for sure, potentially. But A, they were going to be busy selling. Which actually kind of worked to our advantage, but anyway. And B, there wasn't as many of them. The show itself was for parents, so parents aren't our ideal client, so it wasn't going to be worth us putting a stall together and paying money for it. So I think that's the first thing, is to look at, is my ideal client going to be there? And also, you want to look at, why are they there? why are most people booking the baby show or whatever it is, your local show? So I've got an example of when I was starting out in with my breastfeeding support locally, and we had this really, really popular NCT sale every year. It was so like it was literally famous around the country. Like it was like everybody went. I went as a mum before I was even in the birth world. You would queue up literally like a mile or something long to go in and get your secondhand bits. And I also sold there as well, and it was great. Everyone knew about it. Everyone loved it. So I was like, there's a lot of parents here. I'm gonna start a stall here. But there's a couple of mistakes I made in that event. And the first thing was, I think most people were in there just to go and get their stuff. They're not really going in there to talk to professionals or talk about their pregnancy, or like they were very focused. They wanted their secondhand bugaboo, and they were going to stop at nothing to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. They're very focused on that. So in some ways, I didn't really think outside the box in that. And the other thing I'll probably talk about later, which is more about my sales technique, my conversational technique. But I think that's the first thing. Is my ideal client going to be there? And I think the other thing is you've got to think about, what is my goal? You can't go to an event and just turn up and be like, oh, I'm just going to make some sales. You've got to have you've got to be quite specific about what you're going there for, because once you're there, it's busy. There's a lot going on, and you can easily kind of get swept up in it, or you can kind of find yourself shrinking back and hiding in a corner. So you want to go in there with an intention on, okay, well, let's say you've got 3 services. Like pick one that you're not saying don't advertise all your services, but pick one that you're really going to focus on. So say you've got, I don't know, like baby massage coming up in 6 weeks. That might be a great one to pick. I'm going to and give yourself a goal, like give yourself a SMART goal, like make sure that you put numbers to it, and you have an intention to it. Look, it may not turn out that way, but at least if you're going in with that intention, that means that you're having those kind of conversations, that you're giving yourself a goal to work towards. And it could be, it doesn't have to be a booking intention. It could be to build up an email list. It could be if you had written a book, it could be to sell copies of your book, or there's so many different things that it could be. But you want to first of all think about the audience, why they're going there, and then decide on what you want to get out of that event. Is what I would say.
When I was walking around the NEC and chatting to people, and just to sort of make it clear, we had the night before, we'd sort of said, right, these are the people that I'm going to go and speak to primarily. And then when I was there, you were suggesting like, oh, what about this person? What about that person?
Yes.
And I was like finding them, like,
bit of teamwork there. That was quite handy, actually, me not being there.
Yeah, no, it was good in that way. But when I went to speak to people and we got into a bit of a conversation, that was one of the things that I was asking them, so what's your goal today? What are you hoping to walk away with at the end of the day? And some people had like, oh yeah, I want to speak to this many people. And some people were literally like, oh, I don't know. I'd not really thought about it. And then there was also people who were feeling a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit like unsure about how to even, they've got this stall, they've paid a lot of money, there's all this footfall, but how do you get people to actually have a conversation with you? So I was having like a bit of a sales, conversation. I was like teaching people how to sell while I was there.
Yeah.
It was quite good fun. But that's one of the things when you go to these events and you have a stall, don't just rely on people coming to you. You've got to get out, stand in front of the stall. Hold, if it's a product, hold one of your products in your hand, or like if it's a service, hold one of your leaflets. And when you naturally hold something out to somebody, they kind of they look to take it, and you can start a conversation with them that way. Obviously don't start giving your products away, but you can show someone product or what it is that you're offering. You've got to be a bit brave, otherwise you've spent a lot of money, you've taken up a lot of time. The baby show's over 3 days. It was a long time long time commitment. If you haven't got a clear strategy or a goal, it is a waste of time. I think we just put that on the bottom line there.
It really is.
Don't just rely on people coming to talk to you. Don't just hope that people are going to remember you. once they've left the baby show. They'll have spoken to loads of people. They'll be quite overwhelmed. Like, you want to get people's details, their emails, their phone numbers, when you're talking to them. So think of a way of how you could collect leads, how you could collect their personal information, so that you go away at the end of the day feeling like, yes, right, I have got potentially here people I can nurture and turn into sales, even if you haven't managed to sell anything.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have a way of capturing people's information. So, two examples of that. The second show that you went to, which we'll talk about in a minute, we had a QR code that put people onto a very simple form. They just
Yeah.
shared their name and their email address. It was for a competition, so they had that enticement to enter a competition as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of our clients was there, and she just had good old piece of paper collecting emails. Also works, then obviously you've got to then type them all up, but that's fine, that can also work.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter really how you do it, as long as you do it that way. I think it can be not quite nice at an event to have a competition or something that people want to know, something else to draw people over. I think also with your stand, you want to have it vertical. You can't just have like a flat lay table. That's not going to bring
Yeah.
people in. You want people at their level to be able to see things. So we got one of those banners. And then you also want things on the table that kind of stand up. But something I did once when I was doing mindful breastfeeding school stuff is I had like a kind of foldable tabletop display thing
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
had things on, so that can also work. I saw another of our clients at an event this week. She had one of those Velcro ones on a table.
Yeah.
And then you might even want like little things people can come and take. So we had our Baba pens, we had some sweets, branded colours, which I thought you did very well with that. Yeah, things that people can come over and start that conversation with them. And you want to get, this is a thing, you want to get chatting to people. You
Mm.
want to have a conversation with people. You want people to remember you. They're going to remember how you made them feel, not necessarily the sweet you got at their table. They're going to remember, oh, how did I feel when I had that conversation with that woman? Oh gosh, she really like, she really made me feel like my problems or the things I was worried about are normal. She really made me
Yeah.
feel like, good about my pregnancy for the first time in weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I really think about, it's the same as any marketing and conversations that might lead to sales or whatever. It's just that, making people feel safe, secure, listened to, like they matter, like their problems matter, and also let them get to know you a little bit. And there's no better way to get people to know you is to have a chat with them. So
Yeah.
really go to it, that attention. I know that I definitely fell into that first event I was talking about. I definitely hid behind my table, and I didn't hid, I just expected people to come to me. I think I had
Yeah.
some chocolate and I just expected people to come to me, and they didn't. And I wish I'd known now what I knew, which I didn't know then, which was like I could have just got out and started talking to people, especially people wandering around. Obviously, if people are going and looking to buy stuff, I'm not going to tap them on the shoulder and be like, oh, do you want to breastfeed your baby or something like that? That would have been really annoying. But what I did learn at that event, even though the parents weren't really there for that, and it was fine, partly that I didn't get out and have conversations, but actually what I did do is I did have conversations with other stallholders. And so networking for me with my peers was really good, and it really helped me build up some friendships and relationships, and it helped me kind of think about what kind of events do I want to do in the future. And actually that team of people that actually set up some other events that I started doing regularly. So it wasn't a waste of time, it wasn't a waste of money. I don't think I paid much for it. It wasn't baby show prices or anything like that. It was a really good learning experience for me. But I can look back at Anna 10 years ago and I'm like, oh, Anna, you really didn't know what you were doing, did you? You know what I mean? Like total cringe. But you have to sometimes have these
Oh
experiences,
gosh.
make these
Yeah.
mistakes to kind of like figure it out and realize that you need to do, you need to learn how to do events better. So yeah, that's a bit about what I did
I
wrong.
agree. I I went to last week, or it'll be a few weeks ago by the time people listen to this podcast. It was the Birth Trauma Summit, which is run by Make Birth Better. And,
Mm,
it was like 50-50 kind of our ideal clients. So it was definitely
yeah,
worth going. I mean, it was a lot of healthcare
yeah,
professionals and there was a lot of businesses there. And just to agree with your point about networking, so I was not only there to get leads and to build interest in Baba, but also to connect with other businesses that I haven't connected with before. And there was
yeah,
definitely businesses there that I was like, oh my goodness, I have never heard of you, and I
yeah,
love what you, like, literally like, let's connect. So that in
Brilliant.
that way, it was really useful. And I think another thing that might help people is that, like, I don't find these kind of events like easy.
Mm,
It's not something that I relish or really look forward to. But it's definitely something that I'm happy to do because I know that it can have really great results. But I during the day I did have to have quite a few kind of conversations with myself, particularly around networking with other potential collaborations, let's say,
mm,
other than like people that I know that we could support and help in the membership, who would be like our ideal clients. Like I'm bang down with having a conversation with those people. But potentially the kind of collaborations, I would be there
yeah.
going, Liz, just go and speak to that person, just go and approach them, you can do this. Have to have a little bit of a pep talk, and then
Mm,
I would go and do it. So I think if you're a little bit like me, you're a little bit introverted. I'm sort of in between introvert and extrovert. And if you're worried, like, oh, it's not really for me, that kind of event, I'd really encourage you to give it a go, and maybe have someone come along with you if you feel like that might be better. So when I first started out teaching hypnobirthing in my local area, there was an event that was run every quarter, and it was Mother Care, which has now gone into administration
mm,
side. But it was an absolutely epic event for getting in front of your ideal clients, because it was all pregnant mums, pregnant people
yeah.
coming to look at Mother Care. But Mother Care facilitated this amazing atmosphere and environment for us to
Yeah.
be able to share our services. So it was really good. So I learned a lot doing those events. And I would sometimes I remember the first event, this is so sad, but I'm pretty sure I had my mom come with me,
That's not
and like
sad. That's lovely.
and like set up and just give me like a little bit of encouragement. She didn't do any selling.
Yeah.
He was like there and sort of like going, go on, you can do this, sort of thing. And
That's
then
so
once
nice.
I'd done it, I was sort of off and running, and it was okay. And I would just show up knowing that I had a strategy, knowing that I would go in there, and as long as I got in front of people and had conversations
Yeah.
with them, their details, I had a good chance of getting them to a taster and then converting them into like my full course. So it was so worth a bit of
Mm,
comfortable or awkward. So I just wanted
yeah.
to kind of put that out there to people who might be like, oh gosh, events and networking are not my thing. Like, they can be your thing, and it doesn't have to be as scary or as awful as it may sound.
No. So absolutely. Like if any, if anything comes up for parents in your local parents in your local area, just jump on it. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about spending loads of money. Like, if you see the price and you're just like a bit of a red flag, like, not saying that you're not sure how many people are going to go, but you can always ask the organisers questions like, how many people are you expecting? How many people have you had before? Is this the first time you've run it? You can definitely go back and ask questions and then weigh it up. We had another opportunity recently which we decided not to do, but we feel like it's a good fit.
Yeah.
It's our ideal audience. It gives us an opportunity to speak like almost on a stage. It's a virtual stage. We really liked it, but it's quite a high price point for us.
Mhm.
And we decided we weren't going to do it this year because we for the investment that we were going to give, we didn't feel like we had the time, because you had the other events. We've got a lot going. It's a busy month for us. We didn't have the time to put into that to get our best, to make the
Yeah.
best of it. So it's always okay to decide, oh, not, even though it seems good, it's not right for right
Yeah.
now, not for my business. But if you've got a baby event coming up and it's, I don't know, 20 quid a table, or free even, because a lot of them are, just do it. Even if it's just for the experience, then you learn from it and you're like, I want to do it differently next time. Just give it a go, because it's great practice for sales conversations, getting your name out there. Even if it doesn't lead to direct bookings, I would just say, just give it a go. You've really got nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It can be a really vital part of your in-person marketing strategy. And we always say that if you offer in-person services, like, you need to get out there in your community, and these
100%.
kind of are ideal for doing that. Before we go, I'd love to tell you about our own event that we're running. So you could come and practice your networking skills and building collaborations with us, learning from us about how to have that CEO mindset, how to get clients, and how to get more clarity in your business. We are running our next live event, Baba Live, in London in October, and we would love for you to be there. Head to the show notes to check it out, and we'll see you next week.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.